are live. Welcome to our new day and time, Wednesday at 1. New day
All
and
right.
time for the new year.
Yep. Can't really hear you too great, but
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I will fix that.
All right. So, what'd you do with the video? Explain how you did that little montage or whatever.
Well, that was pretty easy to do. Hold on a second. Just adjusting my mic volume here. Are you sure it's not your
Yeah. No,
headphones?
that's good. It
Okay.
got better. Good
Great.
to go.
Yeah, well, I wanted to create just a little video intro to our new time and date, and so we always wanted to use that countdown. So I combined them both to create one video that can be played in the beginning for the countdown and the little intro. So kudos to anybody who knows what that song is, who does that song.
Sure.
Certain people are excluded because they already know.
Look at these loyal YouTubers popping in.
Hey,
First off,
awesome.
Shay, we were on with Shay with Dom and Tommy. I'm surprised he still has a voice. He was on. Guess how long he and Tracy were on
Oh, was
last
that
night?
last night?
Yeah, I was
Oh boy, probably 3 hours?
more,
More?
more,
Oh my gosh, 4 hours?
more.
Oh my gosh, you get 5?
Yeah, and I think it's because they two guests popped on, so it's like 2
Oh,
hours into it, like two people popped on, and then you know how it is. You could
yeah.
keep on going,
Oh, yeah.
going.
We can talk and talk.
Oh yeah. So hello to everybody popping in. Soulmates, hello.
What's the angry face for? Because it said that they were excluded from guessing.
Oh, I don't know, but Tommy, we have no life. When you watch, see, every time I make a comment on his podcast, their lives, he knows it's me. He knows you don't watch. I mean, everybody knows that Laurie isn't on social media really. Um, but yeah, when he goes for 5 hours, it's just like, man, I mean, we go for an hour and we're like, it goes quick, but 5 hours.
I mean, if we really wanted to, I bet you we could, but I don't know who would want to listen to us for 5 hours. That's the thing.
My voice is raspy anyway. I lose it after an hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So here we are. This is all about you and your hair, is why we're doing this on Wednesdays. That's what
right, because my hair and makeup person doesn't work on Mondays anymore.
Not at 7:30 in the morning, you said. That's what I told two people that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Somebody in a DM asked why, and I told them the truth.
That's only part of the reason. Did you tell them the other reason?
You can.
It's Mondays, as you know. Well, as you know, we are a fulfillment company. So Mondays are a big shipping day, just like it is for most other resellers. And so it's very hard for me to be able to balance being able to look appropriate for the lives and be out the door early enough and be focused and have the time to help with the shipping when needed, because some days that's required. And so it's a busy day. There's a lot going on. It always seems on Mondays. So I don't know if we're going to keep this, Wednesday at 1 midweek thing. Who knows? I mean, it's an experiment. We'll find out if it works, if people like it,
Mm-hmm.
If not, we'll switch it up. And I just told Dave, I said, fine, we'll go back to a weeknight, to just any night but Monday.
Okay, we'll figure it out. It's cool. And Tommy says you tap out at 5, which you did admit. You're like, I'm done at 5.
Well, I'm done when I'm done, but not always exactly at 5, but just like, yeah, I work better during the day. I'm definitely a morning person.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, you're not so much that. So.
Oh. And here we have a nice guest from our northern neighbors here.
Yes.
Hello,
Hi,
Julie. Happy New Year to you too.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So, all right, 2022, new year. I've been saying this is, nobody cares what your resolution is. Nobody, I'm going to exercise more, I'm going to drink more water, right? Or water. Those are, that's what everybody's saying. And there is some truth to that. But I saw a meme last week. It's like our friend Rhonda, Pink Diva Studio, very wise woman, good friend. She posted a meme in her story and says, "What's your word for 22?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've never seen this approach." And I don't have the meme. I was going to pop it up, but it was pretty thought provoking.
Right.
And, you always have the traditional like, growth and this or who knows. So I was like, you know what? That's a good thing to talk about for 2022 for our first week in 2022 doing this because hey, we all have different approaches. And have you given it much thought what your word is?
Yeah, I have. I
Okay,
mean,
what's up?
I think everybody, whether you're a reseller or not, they always at the beginning of the year, like you said, people want to make resolutions, but then they don't because they don't want to feel bad for not keeping them. Some people are really good about making resolutions and they're really good about keeping them, but most people I don't think are. But I don't think resellers are any different. I mean, there's always things you want to do in your business to improve, your goals that you want to reach. So at this time of year, people are always talking about goals and things like that. We decided to take it a little different tactic, like you said, with just the word,
Yeah.
so that you can just look ahead to the year and kind of think what the year is going to be encapsulated in one word, which is not easy to do, but it's actually pretty simple if you think about it. So that's what we were going to do. So you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Uh, I'll go first.
Okay.
I just had to take a deep breath. You see,
Oh,
it's like
why? Oh,
my word is patience.
you gonna do the
What?
whistle?
No, I'm not
No.
going to
Oh.
whistle "Patience" by Guns N' Roses, but I should. We all know that song. Look it up if you don't. If you don't know, you're too young. You shouldn't be watching this. That's all I gotta say. If you don't know that song, it's patience. It really is. Because looking back at 2021, we reflected on our last episode, and we talked about all the things, right? I marked every month we had marked down, and we still forgot
We
things.
did. We forgot some
Oh man,
key pivotal moments of
yeah.
the year.
And we're not going to go over that, but we look back and it's like, holy mackerel! Like, how did this all happen in 1 year? It wasn't like we planned it all. Sometimes we were reactive, but
Mhm.
looking back, um, I had a lot of anxiety, me personally, because I spoke to a couple people. Actually, this guy right here, hello, Kaizen, never satisfied, always improving. He and I chatted the other day, and we both kind of have that challenge where we get anxious. We want it all. We want it now or yesterday. I mean, and you see how I react sometimes. Sometimes I bring it home and I'm like, we're in the middle of watching Little House on the Prairie, right? Reruns, binge watching. This is what we do, guys. I mean, this is our
Boy,
life.
we're really getting into it, letting people know all our secrets here, huh?
Why not? Why not? We're binge watching a Little House on the Prairie, saying, "Hey, can you pause that for a second?" You're like, "What?" I'm like, what? Blah, blah, blah," and I just dump on you
Mm.
because this anxiety of feeling like, "Why hasn't this happened? This needs to happen, and we need to do it now." Wasn't healthy. It wasn't good. So patience is my word because I realize things are going to happen because we have a consistent uh, pattern and behavior and methodical and how we're running. Where is it? Ebliss, not our reselling business. That's already a kind of on autopilot. We already have that. But with Ebliss's approach, we're a new company. We have to get the word out there. And I thank you. A lot of the people, Tommy in particular, dropped Tommy Bernard podcast, not the other Tommy that's in here. He said like, "Hey, Ebliss, what's going on?" He drops it in his lives, and we appreciate that. It's just a matter of time. Okay, time. We need time. Time needs to work for us, and we have to be patient with time. We need to um, express our message. So that's my word. We could
I
get
think
into it.
that's a great word for you. I think that's really mature of you to recognize that and say,
Are
you
you?
know what? No,
Uh,
I'm being completely
no, I
serious.
know. I thought you were being a little passive aggressive. Bill, that's a good word for you. You
No,
need
it
that.
is. No, I mean, no, I think
I know.
it's great when, I mean, it's always good when people can recognize, I don't want to say their flaws, but something that could use some improvement and say, you know what, I'm okay with being putting it out there that that's what I need to work on, and that's good. I think that's good, and I think
Yep.
it'll help you overall feel less anxious all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you. So that is
Hmm.
my word, patience. And now you're going to have a word. Now, if your word doesn't match mine, then we're going to have to blend the words and come up with a new word. So what is your word for 2022?
Well, I didn't choose a word that related to me personally because I didn't know that was
It
the
doesn't.
assignment. Okay, good. My word is growth. Plain and simple. What? What? You gonna spit out
That's
your
so
water?
funny. No, because I was just gonna say, like, everybody has the traditional, like, standard cliche words like growth. I almost said that, and now you said growth. That's so messed up.
I'm sorry if it's
Ugh,
cliche.
it's
I'm sorry if it's
beautiful.
standard. What?
No, I just said it's fine. It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, I let me explain myself. You know, we had 1 year of eBliss under our belt. So, and it was a year of lots of changes, lots going on, lots of, we did grow, but now I want to take the growth to a different level. So for me, it's all about constantly growing. We need to grow, in my opinion, just a little bit faster, just get to where we need to be. Now that we've worked out a lot of the, not, I want to say growing pains, but like the first year, whatever they're called, I think we're in a good place to do that. So, because last year at this time, we didn't know where we were going to be. We didn't have a new warehouse yet. We didn't know where we were going to go and how much space we were going to have and how how it was all going to work. Like we're in a really good like we're settled now. In my like the way I see it, we're settled physically. So now let's just grow.
So so it's like a flower that you're growing from a seed. Like we got the soil. Like
Hmm.
last year we had the soil, we had the water, sunshine. What else do you need to grow a seed? I should ask somebody in here. I think I know somebody that knows how to grow stuff. So um
Yeah, not me. I
they
have a
know,
black
they
thumb.
know. So we had all this stuff. We put the seed in the soil, watered it, waited for the sunlight, and we saw the growth. Like it came to fruition, this concept.
Yeah,
And what you're saying is we want to speed up the growth of this sapling or whatever.
yeah. We wanted to make it fuller, like make it have bear more fruit.
Yeah. And it will. I
So
cool.
yeah.
Growth and patience.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that, but Leah Pag said she thought I said grope.
Grump.
Grope. At first I thought it said grape, and I'm like, how did I say grape?
Well, I'm just gonna go back and say hi to everyone. Julie saying, no worries, Laurie, you always look great, and you do.
Oh, thank you. I feel, yeah, I don't know if it's my age or what, but I have just a little bit of vanity in me, where
You're
I
f-
just,
yeah,
sorry,
but
I feel I have to, you know what it is? Actually, I think, it goes back to my performance background. I
yeah,
think that like when you're on, you have to have the whole package. You can't just, to me, if you're going to do this, it has to be done right.
right.
And for me to be done right means I have to look halfway decent. And if I'm not done right, I don't look halfway decent. So,
Well, there's some Instagrammers on here that know about filters and stuff. I don't think you could do
ooh, I
filter.
don't think StreamYard has filters. No,
So if
it
you could do
should.
filters, would you do more Instagram posts? That would be good. People want to see you. They want to hear you. You're good. I'm telling you. We do a reel with you, and you're like this. Flick the hair and all this. We get over 1,000, 2,000 on these reels. You don't. You have no idea what's going on.
No,
Like,
I
okay,
don't.
all right. With the
I'm too busy
Instagram,
working.
I know. Marcy is here to attest that Mondays are bad. Marcy is our shipper, our account manager at eBliss, and she knows it's not insane. It's a busy. It is steady,
Yeah,
and some
especially if
yeah.
we don't get to ship on the weekends, which at some point we're going to have to start
Hmm.
doing every weekend without
Hmm.
fail. This past Monday, the weather was not that great here in Colorado. It was pretty cold, snowed a bit. We took the
Hmm.
weekend off. We kind of
Yeah,
we didn't go. I knew we weren't going out on Saturday. That was New Year's Day.
yeah.
I just planned that ahead of time, got a lot of stuff done around the house, but then Sunday, Sundays we always go in. But we just weren't feeling it. So we didn't go in. So nobody shipped all
Yeah,
weekend. So
right.
Monday comes around, there's like over 100 things to ship. It's like, oh boy,
Oh
okay.
yeah,
We
it was.
all hands on deck
It
type
was.
type of thing. So it just prevents the pressure from
Mhm.
having to get everything done on a Monday. To not have to,
Good.
Plus, this past Monday was our youngest son's 19th birthday, so we went out to dinner, so that was nice.
Yeah, that was awesome. Soulmates Boutique Kaizen. I
What
know.
does that mean?
I don't know. Look it up. I think it's just
Oh,
he told me once it's just like respect, like something like you're a professional in your area. I
oh,
respect that, and
oh,
teach me,
cool.
grasshopper type of deal.
Oh, gotcha.
S deep thoughts here. Mo money yo. Right. That's what it's all about. Shay saying having goals compared to resolutions is much better in her eyes. She's always been a fan of the word for the year. That's cool.
Hmm. That's
I've
the
never
first
heard
time
of.
I know it's the first for us. We've
Yeah,
done goals, obviously resolutions, people make, but a word. I think the word is easier because it's simpler. And if it's really
yeah.
accurate, it keeps you focused
I got to
at
write it
any
on my
given time.
whiteboard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tommy says whiteboards are made for erasing, so
true.
I don't think I'll write patience on my whiteboard. I'll probably erase it after week one. Soulmates also saying GNR. Yes, patience.
They know.
Julie's asking, is any other Canadians in the chat?
I don't know. Are
I
there?
don't know, but we know Julie very well, and she's been very helpful with eBliss, running some beta testing for Canadian clients. Tommy says we have several viewers and Tracy all going on the road for a van life sort of deal. Okay. eBliss
Wait.
would be huge for them. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you. Our thing with eBliss is, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but I did write something down. Our messaging last year was blah. We threw everything out there, all the benefits, because we didn't know like what the top few that people would gravitate or it would resonate
Respond
with, or
to. Yeah.
respond to, right?
Yeah.
And we said scaling, we said freedom hunters, and it's all true.
Right.
Side hustlers, all this stuff, because we spent years really, saying who's it for. But Tommy's right. What he's picking out from eBliss is the travel component. People to hit the road, people to go away for 2 weeks, people
Right.
to take a long weekend and not have to have stress. No, and so yeah, that would be cool. And
Yeah.
we'd be glad to hop on and chat with you.
Yeah. That'd
We'll
be
have to
awesome.
we'll have to get our makeup on, and but always fun listening to and watching Tommy and Tracy. They do a good job. 5 hours last night. And then they're going to be on tonight with Dom from Primetime
Oh my.
Treasure Hunters. And those, he doesn't go an hour and then that's it.
Wow.
So I'm saying two and a
Epic.
half. Yeah, 2.5 hours. So I hope that you're drinking a lot of tea. She said, great. Yep, there we go. Patience and growth. She's in. Patience, growth, and how about some more eBay sales? That's what,
That would be nice.
Julie
We
and I
always
were
want
just,
those.
yeah, we were just DMing Julie and I about like, come on, what's going on? I have my theories. And then Tommy was saying that he wants to chat, like, because you know how we were saying like throw best offers out on everything. His approach is different. He doesn't like
Mhm,
having best offers for many
mhm.
reasons. He'd rather seller initiate offers. So
Mm.
Soulmates Boutique, patient and growth.
Patient growth.
Patient growth. Okay.
That's a nice way to put it.
Right. Wait, growth was my word, and Dave told me I was weird. Now it's okay since the boss said it. That's true.
What can I
Got it.
say?
The cap guy and JT, this is Bobby, by the way. And JT, just to summarize, you know crank yankers. You want to say
Yeah. I know
crank
crank. Don't
crank
do that. Don't do that to me.
Laurie's from the Chicago area, so she says
Originally, so I say certain words funny, apparently.
like crank
Crank
yankers.
yankers.
Yep. We all heard it. Awesome. Um funny YouTube. Got to check that out when you watch YouTube. Breakthrough is her word. Shay.
That's a great word.
Breakthrough. She's doing. I could tell. She's once again. I'm sharing. Like she's doing a lot of, and I always attribute this to Shay. Boom, boom. You've seen that, right? People do that. So she's having fun editing her videos. 20 spilling the beans a little bit right here.
Oh,
2022 deployment in Canada, possibly.
it's close. We're
We're
getting
very
there.
close. And
Thanks to your help, Julie.
what Julie's referring to is we have had interest from Canadian clients that sell on eBay.com, not eBay.ca, Canada, who sell in the US, use what's the technical term again?
Cross-border
Cross
shippers?
cross-border shippers. So they have to send their items, essentially what we do with global shipping. We send our stuff to Kentucky for eBay, and then they send it, throughout the international. They use cross-border shippers. So we are very close to um, announcing that. Very close.
Launching it, yeah.
Speaking of, she has some inventory coming in today or tomorrow. Yes.
Cool.
You don't need filtered. Yes.
Talking to Dave about Dave, not me.
I shouldn't. Okay, this is how I get myself in trouble. I scroll down all the comments, but I feel like it's warranted. When you have time, Dave, we should do a private call so I can get a better grasp of it. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Laurie. Yeah, or just Laurie. I'll connect you guys, and we'll have a good call.
Yeah.
Don't set goals, set expectations. We've heard this before. We actually, early in the game during our development with eBliss, we hired a coach, like a business coach, an advisor, Donna Deteau, and Elevate Your Spark. I think she is on Instagram. And it was so awesome because she came in, she was kind of like a mediator or whatever you want to call it.
Third party.
Third party, almost like a marriage counselor. But she really kind of put us together and just said, all right, you guys took it somewhere. Let's get here. And it was awesome. So set expectations. Nobody ever lowers their expectations. That's a good point. Speaking of, hello, Dave and Laurie from Dom, Primetime Treasure Hunter. I want to know, Dom, do you have a set time you're going tonight with Tracy and Tommy? We said possibly 2.5. Speaking of Dom, also, he invented YouTube, according to Tommy. And yeah, so and he just shows up whenever his name is mentioned. But thanks everybody for popping in. So as we continue, like, those are our words. Mine is patience for the year 2022. And that's really not for reselling. That's really for eBliss, because we brought it to one point. Going to be patient. There's somebody in this room that I'm going to have a one-on-one each week for an hour, kind of like an accountability group. Just we're not going to broadcast it on YouTube, but it's kind of like you know how those are. Do you have anything like that, like an accountability partner other than me that you just bounce ideas off of?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, not officially. Unofficially, maybe.
Oh, you're not going to tell me who it is. That's fine.
Not here.
Just kidding.
No, actually, believe it or not, interesting you bring that up. A couple years ago, I remember I joined one of those like women's business groups, and I thought it was good. But yeah, it was good. But then they went to it. I didn't continue doing it because I think I got what I needed out of it. But I don't know. You know what? I feel like we could use like a marketing accountability partner, you know what I mean? To keep, like, we have so many ideas and so many plans, and it's just so hard to like corral them all and implement them all. That's what your whiteboard. That's what your whiteboard is for, right?
I know. I have a nice, beautiful whiteboard I'm staring at that has had the same wrating on it for like 2 months. But here's what I did. I just wrote a couple things down, and of course, you touched upon it, whatever. That's true. Marketing. This is our challenge. We're dumping it out there with everybody, exposing our challenges with starting a business. We are all entrepreneurs in this room. We are all resellers. We all love it. We have passion for it. And it's the easiest thing to start. It's Laurie and I were just talking about it. I'm brushing my teeth and and all these things come to me this morning. And I said, and it dawned on me actually at breakfast, like, all these resellers they've got the juices flowing. They got the bug, whatever you want to call it, entrepreneurship or hope, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's such a low barrier to entry to start, which is amazing.
Yep,
I mean,
it
you could
is.
sell something out of your closet and
Right.
make 25 bucks, and
Exactly.
that's how it worked for us.
Right.
And I think what's going on with a lot of resellers, they get it to a point where it's like, okay, now I'm kind of relying upon this income because I kind of been dipping in. What turned into a side hustle where you didn't need the money necessarily. Now they're like, well, I need that money to go on vacation. I already booked my vacation. So call it like $1,000 a month is, or let's just say for your average reseller is being pulled out and used and spent. So they get it to the point where they're like, all right, I plateaued. Like I'm challenged. Like I don't know what to do. And what did I mention this morning that is different about a reseller versus like somebody like us who created and started eBliss
Right.
right up there?
Yeah. It's,
What's the
well,
difference?
the difference is that usually you can start making a pretty decent profit pretty fast with reselling, and that's why it's so appealing, I think, to people, because it appears to be simple, it appears to be not that complicated, even though there is a lot to it, you learn a lot, you do have to learn, you do have to be consistent, and you do have to be disciplined and all that in order to be successful, but, you can make a profit pretty fast, whereas you start a regular business, I mean, you may not make a profit for years. It just
Totally.
takes so much to get like we align it or like it to like a plane taking off. Like
Mhm.
we're like a real business is like a 747 that just like kind of labors up into the air, whereas like, the reseller business on this, little tiny reselling businesses or little prop planes just goes boom, boom, and you're up there real quick. But yeah, but once you get up there, you're cruising, but it takes a lot to get up to that point. So I don't know, but I mean, I think what happens also is resellers don't realize when they get into it where it's gonna take them. Like, when you got into reselling, you had no clue that you were going to, this was
No,
gonna become like, our full-time job,
no.
you know?
I thought I invented reselling.
Right.
I
I mean,
said
you
that said that on Dom's channel, and I said it
uh-huh.
before.
I think
Okay.
that's hysterical that you think you invented reselling, even though you knew somebody who was doing it. So you knew you didn't really invent it, but you kind of felt like you did because you were working by yourself. You didn't really communicate with any other resellers or share or anything like that like we do now. Um, but you got to the point where you did do everything yourself in the beginning, and it was fine, and it was good, and you were making fun money and dinner money, and but then when it got to the point where you got, it grew to the point eventually where you couldn't continue to grow by yourself.
Yeah.
You needed like to clone yourself, and that's where I came in.
That was
That's
any
what we
and you were
that's
free
what we did.
labor.
And I was right, exactly, and I was free labor,
Yeah.
and I was able to do what you were already doing so we could take, what we were doing to the next level, but then even I have my limits in terms of, time and whatnot. So then you gotta hire somebody or you gotta outsource, you gotta leverage others in some way. You gotta invest. You can't just, pick stuff from your closet and be like, I'm gonna sell it, now I have money. You have to actually think about how you're gonna invest in that business to make it grow. That's the difference. And a
Yes.
lot of resellers don't realize that that's going to happen. And for some resellers, it can happen really fast, depending on what they're buying and how quickly
Yeah.
they list and all that stuff. So other resellers, it might take a long time.
And so we were talking about that this morning, how reselling, it's like nobody feels that initial pinch or pressure of a commitment to say, I'm going to enter reselling. What is that commitment? I
Well,
don't think there is a commitment other than your
Well, it
time.
depends. It depends on what you're sourcing. Some people do. I mean, your experience is because you're going mostly from the bins. It was very little.
Okay, right. Like I'm talking, like, let's call it thrifters. Very little very little
Okay, well,
capital.
we're
Yeah.
reselling and thrifting. Like now, we're talking about a subset of reselling.
Yep.
So I'm not. Yeah.
Mhm. And so we said, like, okay, back to us, because as we know, it's all about us, right? So back to eBliss. So we're like, okay, this is we are business owners with our reselling company, with our reselling company, which has done very well over the years, provides a full-time income for each of us. We committed, um, I'm just going to call it, like, let's make up a number, 50 to $70,000 in capital injection into the business. And we use that to pop inventory. We use that to get capital equipment, stuff like that. But we knew we had to because we ran out of people who we could clone.
Right.
It was either me or you, and then we did both, and it's like, what's the next step? So we needed help, we needed space.
Right.
So I think with eBliss for us, we are noticing that this is what we're experiencing with eBliss with like time and commitment is what a lot of resellers it happens with resellers. They get to that point that we were at where it's like, all right, I'm pulling in 7, 6, 8,000 gross sales a month. That's nice, but it's not enough. And what happens at that point is sometimes there's not enough cash flow being generated from your reselling business to throw back into the business to pop it. So that's where this external, like,
Or there is, but it just takes a long time.
or you're
Like you
spending.
can't do it
Yeah.
can't do it very fast.
Yeah. So
So
yeah. So it's hey, reselling is great. We're here. We created eBliss to make scaling your business and getting your time and freedom back. Which on my post-it note, this is what I believe our marketing message should be in 2022 with eBliss is let's continue to focus on the time and freedom. For a long time there, we were talking about scaling and all these other things. And I think it kind of like was too much. It's like, well, what's the messaging here? And even like what Tommy said earlier, it's like, a lot of people are going to be hitting the road. When they hit the
yeah.
road and they have freedom and they still have a reselling business, clicking,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
And it's not just people who travel like in RVs and stuff. It's for some people, and we just discovered one of our clients who popped in to our warehouse last week, completely unexpected, which was kind of crazy, but it worked out great. He was traveling from Chicago to Las Vegas, where he's going to winter. So he's a snowbird. And he told
Yeah,
us, he's like, I couldn't do this if I didn't have you guys.
I know.
And we're like,
Yeah,
I mean, we always knew snowbirds would be somebody who could use us, but we didn't have one, I don't think. I don't think any of our existing clients were snowbirds at the moment. So we're like, how
right.
awesome is that? He can choose to live. He's in Chicago. If anybody knows about Chicago, the winters are not fun there. So he's choosing to spend the winter with family in Las Vegas. And I'm just like, not only that's good, but he can like now source from over there too. It's a completely different
Oh,
area for sourcing and stuff.
awesome.
And he can continue to still send stuff in and list because he's sending the stuff into us. He can send it to, oh, that just reminded me, I have to do that with the UPS. Just
I,
make sure that's a possible thing for him. But yeah, he can send us the stuff in, no problem, because
I,
he's not, where he
so cool.
originated from.
So cool. I know. I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, go to Broadacres Flea Market." We were just there in
Yep.
October, but do me a favor, leave some stuff for us when I go back in July. I said, "Just go to town." I mean, so, but he used us. Like he initially used us, I should say, because he lives in Chicago, didn't have the space. He was
Yeah.
renting a storage unit in Chicago. He goes, "I'm paying like I'm going to make up the number anywhere from 200 to 300 a month just for the unit." I believe, or he was going to.
Yeah, or
And
I think he was gonna be moving into a smaller space and he didn't have the space
okay.
anymore or something
So
like that.
so just envision like somebody living in a large city, right? So this is another one of our marketing things with eBliss. We were just like, hey man, there's so many city resellers out there that could benefit from us as I hyperventilate right now because I get excited. I have to be patient. I have to be patient and the messaging will get out there. Our existing clients are going to be doing a lot of our our heavy lifting when it comes to marketing because they're going to be sharing their story
Yes.
and the whole referral thing. So it's fun. I need to be patient, but I'm always grateful. I'm always, appreciative, joyful, all that jazz. We have
Yeah,
that. Our
right.
quality of life is awesome, and we want to, you know, we want to get to a point where we don't have to worry about this pressure to
Right, but we also
make,
want our clients to have that quality of life too with the freedom.
and we see it, and we
Yeah.
see, you know, the client you're mentioning, popped in. He's like, "Hey, I could be there in 2 hours." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we better vacuum." I was like, "Forget
Now
this."
my office was a mess. I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah,
dear."
same here. We wrapping paper like from anyway, but and he said something to me which brought a tear to my eye. He goes, "I c- I can't believe more people are not using you guys right now." And that tear was not of sadness, it was more of joy. It really was, to hear it coming from somebody who was experiencing that. I'm like, and I looked at him, I'm just like, "Man, you know what? I I'm not going to ask you to do our dirty work, but this is the kind of messaging we have
Yeah.
to work with a little bit
Yeah.
more." Now that we have a sampling, we didn't have
Right.
that in 2021.
Exactly right. That is very true. And that's why the last year was so pivotal, because we started not even having warehouse space, and literally I think we had like one client, and now we have the warehouse space. We have lots of other clients and more coming on. And so
Yeah.
it's great. But enough about us and our marketing, people, more
I know,
people.
I know.
We
Yeah.
should welcome, oh yeah, I was gonna say we should welcome Christy. I noticed she jumped on from
I know.
California. Hi, Christy.
I was waiting for the same time. It's I always do screenshots of what the temperature is when it hits like in the teens and send it to her. She's in
San Diego.
sunny, sunny San Diego. I
Yes.
told her maybe we'll see her maybe in the spring. Cross our
Okay.
fingers if we're going out there.
Yeah, why
Soulmates.
not?
Love the patience growth 2020. That's true. Reselling is the best, says Julie. And Dave N popped in. I think Don was saying I invented the internet. Dom, Laurie and I both went to Rutgers, and I know you're kind of like a Syracuse guy. So I know we can't beat you in sports, but at least we did invent the internet. Speaking of Rutgers, I had the weirdest dream last night.
Oh,
I
do
don't know
tell.
I don't know what you want to make of this, but I think I was the doctor of the Rutgers football team. And
Okay.
I had to run out on the field and give the quarterback an IV.
Oh my gosh,
This is
so
no joke.
strange.
I woke up and I'm like, did I just dream that? I'm glad that was a dream, because it was gross, like
Uh-huh.
me with all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was out on the field and it turned into a soccer game where Rutgers kicked the ball and it hit the goalpost twice. Like they could have scored twice. And I'm watching it and saying, don't pass it to me. It was like a nightmare. These nightmares that you have where it's like, oh, I had to do it. It was such a weird thing. I'm like, so I'm thinking, what is
Where did
that?
that come
I
from? I'm
have no
wondering.
idea.
Were you watching sports earlier in the day or something?
No.
No?
So I got to
Hmm.
think about that. So when I just felt I digress, what else is new? But weird dreams, man. I think I don't know. Were we watching anything with Ivy?
I don't think
Um,
so.
Here is Patrick. Yes, chicken patty and a bun. Yes, that definitely on Instagram follow. This is Patrick
Oh,
from our meetup. Our Denver
oh, hi,
meetup is
Patrick.
Patrick's word is consistency. Consistent. Oh, consistently.
Consistent.
Consistently at the bins. Consistently listing. Consistently selling.
I think that
Consistently.
is called consistency. The verb, I mean, the noun. Consistently is the adverb, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, very. I mean, I think that is so key to being a
Yeah.
successful reseller.
Yeah. So adverb. What did you say? What
Well,
adverb?
consistently is the adverb. You're doing something consistently. That's the oh, I'm not going to do the nerd alert, but I know you want to.
I'm
No,
just.
and the consistency is the noun. So, but you just said word. You didn't say noun, so it's completely fine.
That's fine. That's why you graduate with honors. Uh, oh man, Julie says, so happy we created eBliss. Thank you, Julie. Seriously. So time saving. I am saving a lot of shipping fees. That's true. She's a very unique situation being in Canada.
Yeah.
We can't wait to
Yeah, that's going to be
dive in a little
exciting.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, oh gosh, that's so funny talking about weird dreams. This is actually one of our clients too, Wilder, and she called me up the other day, said she had the weirdest dream that she had to work for us, but she couldn't make it here on time. She was going to be late and she thought she was going to lose her job, and she just said it was so real. It's so funny, and she had to call us up and what?
No,
What
I
did
said
you?
you're fired.
Oh,
She was late.
so yeah, so
That is so funny.
mm,
Another note. This is like all scripted. Talk about anxiety with shipping. A lot of people. It's not everybody loves getting the sales. We all know Sunday night sometimes feels like, oh, I have to go back to work for most resellers because they have to either wake up early Monday morning and pick, pack, ship. she doesn't have that anymore at Wilder, and she's traveling the country. Tommy, this is a full-time RVer right here.
Yep.
Amazing stories, amazing photos on Instagram. Talk about joy. Like this is what makes it worth it for us. Like we're thrilled. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, Wilder, glad you didn't have to come in or worry about your shipping. That is very, very true, and she loves it. Mikey Bags of Money. We met Mike out in the Vegas at the Boss
Oh,
Reseller
oh,
Remix.
all
Yep.
right. Awesome.
Did a good
Yay.
job getting
Welcome
up.
joining. Welcome.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us.
Yep.
Today, believe it or not, I think we had fewer than 20. It varies, because it varies by what each reseller does. So some days we could have 40, the next day we could have 20, the next day, it could be 70. It
Yeah.
really depends.
That's
It changes every day. We average around 35 to 40 though.
I think our sampling right now is small that we can't really determine an inventory or sell-through rate, inventory turnover rate, or sell-through rate for our portfolio of clients. But I think it'll get to that point where we're going to start to see a consistent number. Because I posted on Monday, we had like 100 plus, mid hundreds, of stuff
Yeah.
going out. It was
Because that was
insane.
like 3 days of shipping or 2 days.
Yep. Okay. So just in one day, yeah. This was a slow day.
Right.
This
is under average.
A lot of people have been saying that. They're especially their eBay sales are a little sluggish from yesterday.
Yeah.
I noticed that on my account, my personal account.
But the day before was
Yours
pretty
too?
good. So
Yeah, I know.
if you track it, you can look and be like, oh, it's not so bad because the day before was really good. So,
Yep.
don't have to worry about it.
We will never find out. Julie and I were talking earlier, DM, and we will never find out what's really going on behind the scenes at eBay and stuff. And we're not
No.
really conspiracy or speculators when it comes to this.
No, but you had a really interesting insight that I don't know how prevalent it is, but you want to talk about that?
Why don't you? I'm losing my voice. You might as well go.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, you were telling. Well, first of all, you were like, I'm having trouble with my eBay app because I'm looking up stuff and I'm not getting any results at all. And so we troubleshooted that and we fixed it. And now your app is working fine. But before that, a couple weeks ago, you were picking, and there was this one particular item that you wanted to reference to see, if it was a good, look up the comps and whatnot. And you vividly remembered there was only it was a very small number of results. I think that's what you said, right?
Right.
And then once we fixed your app, you did the same search again, and it really wasn't that long ago. It wasn't like weeks in between.
It was 10 days.
10 days. Yeah. All of a sudden, the results for that one, and it was very particular, model number, right? It wasn't just some vague search. It was very specific. And all of a sudden, you had all these results.
I had maybe 6 more popped up.
6 more results than you did before. But it was enough that you noticed, wait a minute. So why am I getting, and you, just to say, you knew that they weren't all new listings. You could tell that they weren't. Well, how could you have told that? They didn't say new listing? Because you don't know when they were listed.
Yeah, no, because I asked a friend of mine I said, is this worth selling? And he was looking up on his phone. I was looking up on mine. I was not seeing the same results. And he goes, oh, I see this. And sometimes when people say anyway, when people have a different search approach, if that is a word, I was like, okay, fine. But the difference is this, I don't have automatic updates on my apps. You do.
Yes.
Okay. I have never, I don't think I've ever deleted the eBay app and then reinstalled it. I've never done that.
Until recently.
Until 5 days ago.
Yeah.
And a part of me started thinking, well, maybe, and I could be making a fool out of myself right now. I don't know this stuff, but maybe there's stuff going on over at eBay where, call it item specifics, all updates, all this stuff, where the apps, the eBay app that has been on people's phones for years, people don't have automatic updates, or people have all this stuff and they're not getting the search on their phone. Now we know that Yeah.
Because also they're not getting, you said that they're not getting notified to update the app. And
Yeah. Like,
you say some apps, because I don't have this because I have automatic updates, but
okay.
you say that some of your apps will say you need to update, otherwise you won't be able to use this or something like that. You said,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like,
that doesn't happen on the eBay app. You were saying,
yeah. Like Southwest airline app.
yeah,
It's like,
right.
you must update,
You know what?
our
I hate to say it, but I mean, you never know what that could have done, because we all were saying this whole year, like things were
yeah.
just going in the wrong direction, but it just wasn't one or two resellers, just like
It,
everybody on eBay is like, what's
yeah.
happening with eBay, you know?
Real quick. I like that approach. I'm just going to say, if anybody, if anybody's on here, there's 11 people on here. If anybody feels comfortable, just typing in the month that they believe their, call it eBay sales, kind of like stalled or declined, because I think that was the consensus, that 2021 was not a prolific year for many resellers. We saw a letdown. Like, if there was a specific month that jumps out to many people in the room, let us know, because for us it was what?
Well, it
Which month?
started on May
Right.
15th,
Oh my goodness. How do you know that?
because I remember these things.
All right. It started in, when was our first date? Do you remember that? No,
Define
probably not.
date.
Oh gosh. This is a daytime show. May was the month that we kind of
Things
started
started
slipping.
going
Like,
downhill, but
like,
not
we're like,
that. I mean, they bottomed out in November.
bottom. Yeah. Okay. And then we saw a little bit of a,
And then we saw it got back up to a healthier level, not to where it used to be, but it was like not detrimental. It was it was doable. I don't know.
right. No, I totally get it. Cause going into 2021, we were like, okay, our reselling business, we're doing bam,
Yeah,
we're
but 2020 was an anomaly year for resellers.
okay.
Was an anomaly year for a lot of people for many reasons. So you can't, like, I don't think you can compare 2021 to 2020 and be like, oh, it was so bad. It wasn't
No,
that bad. It was just that the previous year was that good. So it felt bad.
okay. Add that element into uh the consistency. I think that's the
Right.
element. That's the element
Correct.
that we notice, like, what's going on. Like,
It
the
just kept
kids.
going the wrong direction for
Yeah.
until from May to November, until we started putting best offers back on all of our listings
Mhm.
and started taking offers. And then we did that. I did the coupon on my account. Dave really didn't. My coupon's gone now. I only did it through the end of December. So
And not many people used it, you said, right?
no, not many people used it, but that wasn't the purpose. It was just for eye
Right.
candy.
So, so
Who knows what that really did? I mean,
yeah.
I think I'm going to just leave it off for January just to
Mhm.
see.
Yeah, and people have their own opinion. Dom, he does another live with Don, the auction professor, and Don says coupons are useless. And you know what? They could be. But the one thing that Laurie did hear from the eBay sales growth advisor, or whatever you want to call it, was that it's kind of like, as he said, what did he call it?
Eye candy.
He called it eye candy, which
He
and,
did.
and it looks like a candy apple because it's all in
Because it's
red.
red. It's just
So
another thing to differentiate your listing visually from others. Now, if every single person has a coupon on it, then it's not going to really help, but not everybody uses them. So
okay, so the anecdotal evidence, I don't know if that's the right term, but that we've had over a month and a half of you using a coupon,
yeah.
and all that jazz. Um, you're saying not many people used it, but your sales were much better than mine on my account. So maybe it is that eye candy, like, hey, let's check that out.
Well, my sales were better on your account, but our sales overall were much better than the month before.
Yeah.
So that to me was it's it overall, whatever we were doing definitely helped.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, we'll take it. And yeah, let me just jump back in. Julie wants to know if we have any new strategies for eBay stores in 2022. Coupons, best offers, higher promoted listings.
well, I
Well,
would like to try that. I remember, I forget exactly who it was. I forget. It's something with the promoted listings, like raise it or something. I forget. Like I forget. I wrote it. I screenshotted it during one of our lives. I think it was when we were talking about coupons. Do you remember what I was talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to try that just to see if there is any difference. Um, but yeah, this is the thing too, though. When you, this is why I think best offers for us worked pretty well because I think we did move a lot of old stuff by accepting because we weren't getting the sales for older stuff, like things that when I say older stuff, I mean things that we have listed for a long time. They necessarily weren't old listings because we're pretty good about that. But we can tell when we initially listed that item, regardless of what the listing says. So if something, I noticed a lot of offers coming through on that kind of stuff. So for
Mhm.
me, it was good to move that older inventory because otherwise it'd still be sitting there.
Yep.
So
Totally. Julie said end of September crashed.
yeah. I mean, for us, especially because we literally record every single like how many items we sell every day, how much that those sales were, you know, or we record everything on both accounts. So I can tell like where we stand at any given time. And it was getting really like it was crazy bad last couple months. Our ITR dipped so low. It was just like it made no sense why our inventory turnover rate was so low. There was no explanation for it.
Yeah.
But it bumped
Uh,
up 5 points in the last month. So we were obviously whatever we're doing was helping.
mhm. Tommy's so edgy. It's so funny. And we talk about like the eBay and the eBay. I guess he's saying like Dom, not Dom.
Getting
Always,
very confusing.
yeah. There's a lot of Tommies and Dons and Doms and stuff like
So
that.
if you want to bring up Christie's remark,
Yeah, totally.
which
That was going
she was
right on.
saying that like May was her best year, best
Best month.
month,
Mhm.
but then August, December wasn't that great. The one thing that we always have to say a caveat is we only really sell on eBay. We don't cross list that much. We have a few things on Poshmark, but I wouldn't really consider it a serious effort there at this point. So our experience is only from eBay. So it's a little different than other people who cross list to other platforms
Mhm.
because the prevailing wisdom is that if one platform isn't doing as well, another one might. So you should have your stuff everywhere in case
Right.
one goes down, or
Yep.
whatever, one's not doing as well. And a lot of
Mhm.
people have attested to that. Now, there's a lot of, you have to be willing to be able to manage all that. And if you're good there, that's fine. We have 4,000, oh no, now it's like 3,500 listings. It's not manageable for us at this point. Maybe if we came up that way, it would be, and we would have a system in place and, to manage all that sort of thing. But when you're a one person show, I feel like it's a lot easier to operate that way versus when you have employees and now you got to train them to do all this stuff like it and everybody has to do it equally and it just becomes very complicated. So we've always just
Could
stuck to
be.
eBay.
Yeah, and a lot of people once they get to maybe a certain level of sales or activity, they pare down and saying, they say like, "Hey, maybe Mercari's not worth it anymore."
Right.
And speaking of Dom, he was on last night with Kat, the nurse flipper. She's a very popular YouTuber as well, and she was having issues with Mercari, and she's this is what happens over time. You adapt, you adjust, you pivot, you say like, hey, my time is I need to drop this platform or this isn't working.
Right.
And Julie said, yeah, the coupons do appear to be eye candy. Yep. Uh, Soulmates, they used targeted eBay promotions and made several sales. Awesome. Mikey Bags of Money was saying that he's going to try coupons. And I know Mike sells on multiple platforms as well. So it's just, what you could handle and what you're selling
Yeah,
also plays into that as well. We're very
that's true.
concentrated on electronics where it's like, I know, I know Poshmark, you could sell electronics. I don't think we're really in a rush to explore that right now. So, Chrissy was also saying that she manages cross listing, but Poshmark is her baby, and just it's like her second. And that's the thing. Yeah, we met Christy in Las Vegas, and I remember she and I had a we were talking geeking out with the numbers a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I just noticed when we were starting, once we got to 1,000 listings, the cash flow is more predictable. I don't think that's the case anymore. I would say maybe like 1,500 listings is where your cash flow may be more predictable at this stage of the game based on the volatility of the market.
Yeah.
And here we go. Tommy, we're going to have to schedule a call
Yeah.
with the boss, Laurie, here. Can you read his comment there?
Well, so my ring light is in the way, but I'll do it
Okay.
because you're losing your
Yeah,
voice.
nah, it's fine.
Oh.
Tommy says, I can guarantee promoted listings work. Okay, cool. No doubt. The traffic reports and analytics show us everything. Yep. I only have 630 listings and over 9 million impressions for the last 30 days. What does that mean?
Well,
That speak to you?
impressions are they're the first line of defense when it comes to like kind of looking at your traffic and your results when it comes to eBay. So that's definitely good. But I think I forget what's the next one? Clicks and then conversions. Those are the other couple factors you want to look into too. But that's why eBay is great. Like I think Leah said, experiment and see what works.
Yeah.
And it's nice because we have the two accounts, so we can kind of experiment side by side to some degree. Our accounts are not exactly the same; they're very similar, but we're trying to even them out a little bit. Yeah.
Laurie, you have this answer, right?
What is the Moneyball formula for winning at eBay?
Yeah. Moneyball is a baseball term.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I
know the movie, but
good movie, by the way. Watch it.
I don't know what it means though.
Moneyball is just like the X's and O's, not the X's and O's. It's the data analytics. Just figuring out. Like, don't get your emotion in something like. And
I've always said, and I mean, I will defend this because I feel like it's really been our support system, for lack of a better word, over the last 4 years or 8 years, however many years. Well, I've been with you since 2017, so we're coming on 5 years. Wow. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. That's crazy. So, but then you add like 3 more years for you. So anyway, ever since I came along and I started recording all this stuff, I have 4 solid years of data for our business when it comes to our sales and return rate and ITR and all that stuff. I really feel like having just some basic information about your business to be able to have that objective stance versus a subjective stance is like, oh, I got 3 returns today, everything's terrible. Because it feels terrible, but if you look at it and you're like, oh, my return rate is still very under what I expect, and then you could be like, who cares? It's okay. Now, if that starts doubling or tripling, then, you got to make a change or do something different, but you can't make those decisions unless you have that information. You know what I mean? So I always feel like those are like, to me, your number of sales, your ASP, your ITR, your overall inventory. Well, in order to get that information, you have to know your overall inventory at the beginning of every month. Have that information, see how it's grown. I did this the other day. I showed it to you. I put down in a spreadsheet every year of all this like summary information because it was the end of the year. So I had 2021's information. So I had 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, 4 years. And I was like, oh, wow. Even though a couple of these months this year were really tough sales wise, historically, it's still very much in line, which is encouraging because it's not like even though it feels like things are falling apart and bottoming out, they really aren't, as long as the pendulum can swing in the right direction. So they did do that in December. Hopefully they will continue to do that. But I have the data to look back on and say, you know what? Our return rate has actually gone down the last 4 years, which I think is great, because it was pretty high to begin with.
So this YouTube live we love because our intention was to be like, hey, let's get it out there. Let's get evergreen content where people could evergreen content where people could go back and refer to it, in the future, and also see like, oh, Dave and Laurie know what they're talking about, or at least Laurie knows what she's talking about. Did you just roll your eyes? Anyway, when it comes to the stuff. Now, this Laurie Bean, do you know what that means?
What?
Laurie Bean. But you have
No,
no idea.
I don't know what that
Okay.
is. Am I
It's
supposed to?
no. Well, Moneyball was this guy. Billy Bean was the GM
Oh,
of the Oakland
yes, yes, yes.
A's.
Okay. I
So
did see the movie. I remember.
a great movie. Yep.
Yeah.
So Laurie is like Billy Bean, Laurie Bean. That's what we're all trying to crack the eBay code. There's somebody in this room that says he's going to crack it. There's somebody in here that told me that he's going to crack it.
Crack the algorithm code.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I said, yeah.
Good luck.
Okay, let's. No, I'm just saying. I go for it. But it may not be the algorithm code, but he was really sharing that he's going to find out what works for him.
Right.
For
And that's all any of us can do.
totally right, and I love that because that's the analytics of
Right.
yeah,
But what works for one person may not work for somebody else.
no doubt.
So that's what we have to remember too. Just because it works for us doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Mhm. Yep. Now, bouncing around, but Tommy is saying that in the last 30 days, he spent 946 on promotions, okay, and made almost $12,000 in promoted sales alone.
That's a very good ratio.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
I mean, that's
yeah.
another thing we track every month, how much we spend on that sort of stuff. So I can tell, like, if it's really making a difference or not.
So Tommy, Laurie, here I'm going to introduce you guys. We're going to have a phone call because
Okay.
this is why Tommy goes for 5 hours on his lives. He loves this stuff. And he said that's just promoted sales alone, doesn't include organic.
Mm.
Exactly.
But
So
it's great that eBay gives you that information, so you
yeah.
know.
And bouncing all over the place, trying to make sense of not sense, but just trying to coordinate all these comments so they fit well. Soulmates was saying that the CEO of eBay, Jamie Iannone, committed to new seller tools and improved CRM capabilities in 2022. Part of theirs is the coupons to drive repeat customers.
Yeah.
And we
won't go into that.
Depends. It may work for somebody like
business
Tommy
is
here.
business. Business is business. I don't think eBay's immune to that. So, but
Christy, it looks like she had to pop off because she goes, "Oh, geez." Once I told her she has to get to 1,500 to make it work. Now she said, "I better go do some shopping."
Yeah. Well, it is the middle of the day for some people. So
I know it's thank you
for
for
everybody,
hopping on.
really.
Yeah, even in Canada, it's the middle of the day. But what about New Zealand?
I don't know. That's the next day.
Yeah, it's another beta test that we're working on. Have a New Zealand client checking us out and using us. So yeah, we don't know what the Moneyball formula is. It really depends on your business model, what you sell.
True, but there are some fundamental truths I think that or constants that you have to realize are out there, and that is I think what Patrick was saying about consistency, because eBay likes active accounts. Period. End of story. You have to be active on eBay. eBay likes that. And then the question is, are all activities equal? Probably not. There is probably a hierarchy of activities that are considered better than, more active than others. So, because how many times, how many times you get an offer for something and, you throw it back at your counter and somebody else buys it for the full price, or they just ask a question. They don't even have to have an offer. They just ask a question, and then all of a sudden somebody bought it. It's like,
yeah, I had somebody, I almost put this on an Instagram story today, but I felt like it was a little too negative, and I don't like doing that. Like, how people just like, negative. Like, I did post something on our story today, and then afterwards I'm like, you know what? That has a negative vibe because I had 0 sales for today. And I just said like, hey, look at this, hang in there. Let's go. I was like, let's back off. I'm all new year, new attitude, new word, patience. Right. But what was I going to say? Oh, so I almost posted this on a story. I had one person who had 3 feedback on eBay. say, you may not want to photograph this buzzer. It was like a pet groomer buzzer that we had listed for $120, right? You might not want to show the photos with the blade off, and this is, you probably get better buyers if you showed it put together. And I'm like, so rather than like be snippy like I would have been 7 years and be like, oh, I know what I'm doing, yada yada yada. I sent them an offer. I sent them an
Seller
offer.
initiated offer?
Yes,
Oh my
because they
gosh.
they yeah, they were just kind of like, I don't even know if they're interested, but they engaged, right?
Yeah.
So I replied with an offer, a couple
Did they
bucks
buy it?
off. No. But talk about playing, what did I call it? Gaming the system like
Yeah.
a month or two ago. Like, I'm gonna game the system. You engaged me. I'm going to engage you. Now watch somebody come in from out left field.
It
No
probably I
reference to
won't be surprised if
baseball.
that happens. It happens all the time.
All right. So there you go. So if that's the case, we just cracked the code. Anyone who says, can you take a photo of this? You send them an offer, and then in from left field comes somebody buying it, somebody other than them. Wow.
You
And,
never know.
what do you make on this statement?
Sadly, data from 4 years ago on a lot of things with eBay isn't relevant now that eBay's whole entire income strategy is promotions. I think that that's not what I was talking about. I'm just talking about like historical data in terms of actual numbers. Yeah, things have changed over that with eBay's trying, pushing towards promoted listings and all that stuff. But I mean, you got to go roll with the times. I mean, you got to adapt. You have to, if you're the C word in eBay land, if you're an eBay curmudgeon and say, I'm going to do it this way because I always have, you'll probably be left behind. So I don't know. I just feel like there are some there's set information that you can go back and look on that is relevant for your choices and your decisions going forward. So I think that's where I was coming from in that
Mhm.
regard.
Soulmates, little feedback is a gift, Dave.
Not
Soulmates,
always.
I have thin skin. All right. Tommy knows that. I'm gonna blame it on my Jersey thing.
Oh yeah,
You
no
live in
doubt.
Jersey your whole life. You just get beat up and you're like,
Well, I lived there for most of my life, and I don't
Ye
have the same thin skin that you have.
Oh, plus I'm the baby of the family,
Well, that's
and
true,
you're not.
and I am not.
Yeah.
So
So, we could start the show now.
oh,
Angie's
just
here.
yep.
It's going great. Thanks for hopping in, Angie.
Yes.
We start at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and I know you're in Iowa time, Central. I love Angie. Good attitude. Look, Laurie, you look great as always.
Thank you, Angie.
What she really wants to know is, uh, what the heck are you talking? Somebody
I
bought it.
I think that slipped out.
Yeah, you say hot dog and bought it and awesome. I noticed. I don't know how you.
Only
Oh,
if
you
I
don't.
want to sound like I'm from New Jersey. I will say awesome.
But most of the time, you're talking about crink yankers, and like you have a Midwestern.
My
Lori.
Midwestern accent comes into play into my New Jersey accent, so it's very odd sometimes.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Hmm.
What can I say?
Yes, it is a little bit of a Jersey accent. That's how it is.
But they don't talk like sorry, we don't talk like that.
Yeah. So, soulmates and Patrick, chicken in a bun, I believe. Chicken patty in a bun earlier. Consistency. I mean, that's very true. I saw,
That's yeah, totally
it's the
true.
beginning. It's the beginning of the year. Everybody that says, success is, doing the consistent things, and we know it.
No doubt.
Exercise, drinking water, whatever it is.
Yep.
And we did that. We demonstrated us personally in our reselling business, always listing the same amount each week. And in return, we were, selling 160 a week type of deal. And we're going to do the same thing with eBliss. And yeah. So it's good stuff. Tommy was just saying, gotcha. You mean personal data points?
Right.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Leah says, haha, because she knows you pretty well and she knows that you got that Jersey thing going on. And Andrew was saying she loves how you talk, Laurie. New time is better for me. Monday nights are crazy.
Well, so far, based on the numbers, it looks like it is.
It is. My only thing, okay, this is the inaugural Wednesday at 1.
Right. And we're
Good
like
alli
10 minutes
Yeah,
over.
some good alliteration there. Wednesday at 1.
Yeah. Who thought of that?
The same person who came up with the name Eblis, right? I thought I invented it. I thought I came up. I invented reselling, right? But uh, anyway, Monday nights are crazy. So here's the dilemma, though, Laura.
What?
On Mondays, it was like we started at 5 Mountain Time, and it was like let's go to 6 because we didn't want to bleed into other people's YouTubes. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know who's going like this. I mean,
We're not going to make this indefinite. Like we're
okay.
going to, we can't just, I mean,
Okay,
we got work to get back to.
that's right. And lunch.
And lunch, right. So, and it's been a great hour and 11
Oh,
minutes. It's been
it
awesome.
goes quick. I got a
Yeah, it
hunger
does.
headache.
It's also, it's really great to have everybody who jumped on
I know.
and anybody who's watching on the recast. Is that what you call it? Replay? I
I
forget.
don't
What do you
know.
call it? Rewatch?
Rewatch.
I don't know what it's called.
I'm sure Tommy
Yeah.
knows. The
Yeah.
replay, the rewatch,
Replay? Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
yeah.
But yeah, thank you to anybody who's watching there and have no idea. Oh, next week, actually, just to switch things up again, we have to do
Oh,
it a day early because there were things on our calendar that I couldn't
yes.
avoid. I mean, I didn't, they were already on the calendar when I said we were going to go to Wednesdays. That can't be changed. So next week, we're going to actually do Tuesday at 1 just for that week. And then, we might have to do flip back and forth between Tuesday and Wednesday for a while, only because we have stuff on our calendar. Like we said, we haven't blocked off, ahead of time. So
Okay.
just watch our Instagram post that Dave makes and, hopefully you'll get notified
Yeah.
when we're going live.
And we'll sum this up in the next couple of minutes, but Tommy was saying, yes, he could talk eBay analytics all day. And he could. I mean, he wants to have a call with you and I'll just sit in and just observe. But and he brings up a good point. He goes, I think most sellers out there, the biggest mistake is trying to learn the BOLOs, the be on lookouts
Mm-hmm.
and stuff before learning how eBay actually works. And you mentioned
Good
that.
point. Yeah.
You mentioned that. Learn your platform.
Right.
Don't
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things for me, because if you don't learn your platform, you're not going to be there for very long. So what's the point? You
I
can know
know.
all the bolos in the world, but if you can't sell them,
Hey, and this is, I think it was episode 7 or episode 9 that we did. We talked about like beware. Don't get kicked off of eBay. It is so easy to get kicked off of eBay.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like selling counterfeit stuff or Veros.
No, like just by not understanding how eBay works.
Right. And
what eBay expects of you.
Yeah. And we nailed it down. It was the defect rate, and what is a defect rate and what does that really mean in terms of numbers and what constitutes a defect rate? You can't find your stuff or you don't respond to an open case, all this jazz, right? That's the thing. eBay is where the money is made. And I think Tommy would agree. So, Mikey, thanks for hopping in. Julie had to go. Yeah. She loved watching today. It was fun. And we appreciate you hopping in as well.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Because I don't know. Your camera's getting a little blurry, by the way.
I know. I noticed that. I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
I'm getting blurry.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. And
yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday at 1.
Yeah. Thanks for popping in, everybody. Have a good day.
Yes.
All right. You too.
That's what I was going to say.